I got back last night from Deadhorse on my trip. Go over the condition of the bike. The front fender I had to remove at Fairbanks. I had raised it up, and the mounts that I made for the back of the fender broke. Nothing with the factory, but the mounts I made had broke. So we're going to get the fender remounted and take care of that. The handlebars I broke in on my wreck. I bent them clear ahead and I pulled it back and cracked the front. Rode it over Adigan Pass, hanging onto it like a broken chicken wing. Got to pump station number 4. They said there wasn't anyone there that could help me, but DOT was 40 miles down the road. So I took off from there, and a mile down the road it broke off completely in my hand. So my little ET basket that I put on here, I zip tied it here and rode it 40 miles to the DOT station. They took care of me, welded it back up so I could continue on my run. The headlight assembly, of course, was in the wreck and broke. This is all bolt on, so I'll take that off, unbolt it, take it off. I never cut any of the factory wires, and I'll put the original bucket back on. We'll correct that. My running board was broke. I got replacement for that. Crash bar was bent. We took care of that up there in Fairbanks, straightened that back up. The front tire, 11,000 plus miles on it, is still in good condition, but I got new tires to put on the bike. The back tire I put on in Fairbanks has got 6,000 plus miles. When I went up to Deadhorse, part of the road has incredible potholes in it. And being a hardtail, the rear tire and rim and axle had to take all the abuse. When I got back to Fairbanks and made it into British Columbia, I noticed my sprocket was wearing. I had them ship me a new sprocket to Fort St. John, British Columbia, and I put it on. But I had to drive the axle out with a hammer and a punch, and then found it had been bent, hitting one of those enormous potholes and taking the abuse. There's been stories of other bikes that have hit those potholes and lost their rim and had to wait for a whole new tire and rim. But this one took the abuse. I put it back together knowing that the bearings were probably, damaged. They went out in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. So even though the bearings were bad when I got back to Fairbanks, they lasted that long. Total trouble that was factory related, zero. Nothing factory related. The abuse I gave it, ridiculous. So it's a recommended bike from me.